family. That you have to start with.
Young family indeed. My girl here.
Thank
Say
you.
hi.
Oh, great. What is her name?
Aisha is her name.
Oh, nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. I say nice to meet you too.
Yeah. And how about you, Valentine? Do you have a family with you today?
No, I'm single. I have a cousin and a niece close by and a nephew. So let me just call one. Ella, come and say hi.
Haha.
She's my, say hi. Yeah.
Hi,
Her name is Ella.
Ella. Nice to meet you.
Emanuela. Yeah. Say nice to meet you. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have Kim. Looks like she's in the car. Kim Benson is one of our co-directors of the Parachute for the Planet Project. How you doing, Kim?
Hi, Barton. How are you?
Great.
I am in the car.
And we have Jack, who is he's in my neighborhood, and together we are working to make our neighborhood have better climate laws, better climate laws. And the two things we're working on is no pesticides in our neighborhood, and also leaf blowers, no leaf blowers, which is a big problem in our area. They're very loud, and people like blowing leaves around for some reason and collecting them instead of just mowing them. Yeah.
Having people say where they're from.
Yeah.
I mean, on the name.
Yeah, I guess we could ask that. Yeah, if you want to change, rename your, let me see here. Yeah. If you want to rename yourself and add your country to the end of your name, that's great. All you have to do is go to the top right of your box, and there's 3 little dots, and you want to do that. It's not necessary. Yeah. And we're doing this Zoom call thanks to my daughter, Sabrina, who is a student at Tulane University, and she is doing all her classes online, and she has a Zoom account because that's what she uses for her classes. So it's like so she's been kind enough to lend me her account for this meeting because they have special privileges in it, and it's obviously a very, very large Zoom account for the whole campus. Yeah, and I see we have my wife on. Shireen is on the call. Hi, Shireen.
I think you can hear me.
Yeah.
That's okay.
There we go.
Lakshmi is also.
Oh, I see Lakshmi is trying to join.
Lakshmi is also.
Oh, I don't see you yet, Lakshmi.
Because my photo is not there.
Okay, can you join us by photo?
Yeah.
Let's see where you are. Don't see you.
Yeah, there is a name written on the top.
Okay, I asked you to start your video.
Photo there.
Okay, here we go. Lakshmi is from India. I don't see you yet, Lakshmi, but she is responsible for placing the Mother Earth sculpture in India. And that just happened last week. So it's a very exciting moment for the project. And we welcome Lakshmi, who will be speaking today as well.
Should I start?
Not yet. You'll be speaking. I'll tell you the exact time.
Yeah.
It will be in
Whenever you like, I'm sitting. Whenever you think that I should speak, I will speak.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be in 1 hour actually.
Okay.
And I see we have Andrew. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. This is Andrew.
Yes. Hi. How are you doing? Say hi to
Good.
everybody.
Yes,
Andrew's from Rwanda.
Rwanda, East Africa.
Yes. How's life in Rwanda? Tell everybody.
This one is doing good, and COVID has stopped everything, but they have eased. All activities are back in normal, but we respect social distancing. We put on masks, but we are happy that everything is back in normal life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you close to where the silverback gorillas are, where they live, or no?
I beg your pardon?
Are you close to where the gorillas are, the silverback gorillas in Rwanda?
Yeah, yes. No, I'm in the capital city, Kigali. The silverback is part of northern part bordering with Congo, DRC. But it is 2 hours from Kigali.
2 hours. Okay.
2 hours, yeah.
That's great. So I see we now have Seda from Morocco. Welcome, Seda. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
That's great. And I see you have a picture of the parachutes you sent us about a year ago. You were like one of the first parachutes communities that sent us parachutes.
Yeah. There are 2 parachutes here.
I see, yeah. And we have them now.
About carbon pollution and other about rubbish.
What does it say below there on the sign below?
Yeah, the world, Iran, Morocco.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, you should send out a final email reminder.
I've sent that many times.
Benjamin said you.
We're just waiting for more people to show up. Obviously, as you might know, we had a Zoom bombing event last week, and it was sort of a unfortunate thing, but we had a lot of people on the call. We had about 180 people, which was very exciting. Anyway, today we're going to try it again, and maybe we'll have some of the same people coming. But right now we have many of our speakers, so we definitely have a lot of speakers, and that's great. I see that we have Jacques. Hi. Why don't you unmute yourself and say hello?
Hi, Barton. Hi, everyone. I'm happy
Good.
to be here. My name is Jacques.
Great, excellent. Tell everyone where you're from and what you're doing.
Absolutely. So I'm originally from Cameroon, that's in Central Africa. And right now I I do two things. So I am with Citizens Climate Lobby, and I am the regional coordinator for French speaking Africa. So that's the French speaking countries in Africa. And I'm also the campus leader for Citizens Climate Lobby at Antioch University in New England. So that's in New Hampshire.
Oh, right. So that's where you are now, correct?
At the moment, I'm in the DMV area, but yeah,
Okay.
due to COVID and everything is remote. So I'm not physically in New Hampshire right now.
Great. Great.
I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Barton.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy to bring everyone together. And, we've been communicating for the last few years for sure. And it's been a very powerful time for our world, trying to move the needle together. And it's, you guys have been, all these different communities have been doing different things. And it's been just a great experience for me personally and our family to be interacting with different communities like yourself. I see we have Mohammed. I see you. You might want to close the shade behind you because I still can't see your face. But anyway, all right. We're starting to get some more people, which is great because we've just see we have Callan, which is great. She seems like she's walking. And we have more neighbors. And my sister Amy is in the house now. God knows where she is. And we have Sanjeet from Maryland. She's going to be speaking about a plant-based diet, which will be very exciting to hear about that from her. There's a lot of great people on the call. So we'll start like in 5 minutes. That is my dog, yes. Okay. Anyway, we're getting close to starting. I want to welcome everybody again. We basically have people from many countries on this call. This is a world effort. The climate emergency has been going on for many decades. I grew up not really loving nature, but not really realizing to the extent that I was not a part of the solution, but more somebody using nature for my benefit. And it's been a real learning curve. It's been probably the largest learning curve of my life, learning about the climate emergency and learning about how I can participate. I remember actually meeting Albert Gore, Vice President Al Gore, about 15 to 20 years ago at a lunch. And he showed us this movie that was just coming out, The Inconvenient Truth, which I'm sure many of you know about. And everyone I was with a group of 20 people, and we were all riveted by it. And I went up to Mr. Gore afterwards and I said, I'm ready to help. How can I, what can I do to help? And he said, just very simply, he said, get involved, which was a bit daunting for me because I didn't know what that meant. And it took me about 5 or 10 years to figure out what that meant. Slowly our family started composting, recycling, and it's just everything you do, as you look to the side and you realize you've got to do 5 more things. It's just, the process is continuous, and we all are, we should not feel guilty for things that we aren't doing well. Our carbon footprint can get smaller, but the process is just what we need to be focused on, just getting more and more sustainable as individuals and collectively. Why don't we wait 1 or 2 more minutes and we'll get started. I think we have a lot of people on the call already. We have about almost 50, which is, I think, a good starting point. So let me see here. Great. Okay. Great. We have Sandra here from Germany. She just stepped out of the picture. Where are you, Sandra? There you are. Sandra is from Bonn, Germany, which is the headquarters of the UNFCCC, which is the organization, the arm of the United Nations that began and created the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015. And she has helped to bring a Mother Earth sculpture across the Rhine River in Bonn, which is now there as of about a month ago. And she has engaged a lot of people from the United Nations about our project. And we owe a lot of gratitude to her for helping to share our project. And I mean, after all, our project is about helping to amplify voices around the world. And that's what we're here to do. And I think, anyway, I think we should probably get started. All right, so why don't I start out by sharing my screen. There's 2 things I'd like to do. I've already introduced all the family members. Those are our Mother Earth project started in 2015. And we have by our family, which is my wife and 3 children who are on the call. And we basically decided that we wanted to do something. Yeah, let me share my screen. Let's see, where are you? 1 second.
Now.
I'm gonna turn off everyone's, I'm gonna mute everybody for the time being. Okay, and hold on, there we go. There we go. So here's a list for everybody to see today of our event. We have speakers, looks like more than a dozen speakers from countries around the world. We're very excited to have it seems like almost everyone is here. And I did ask everybody who could to create a sign that says "The World We Want in 2045," which happens to be the year that the United Nations becomes their 100th anniversary, and hopefully this will be the year that our world will be 100% sustainable. It's a big goal. We have to get started yesterday. Every day counts. So I know everybody on this call is very focused on the environment. So if you have a sign, it would be great if you could sort of wave it in front of you at the conclusion of each speaker's presentation. So here we have our first parachute. The Parachutes for the Planet project, I believe, started about 2 years ago. It's been a whirlwind. This is a 24-foot parachute that Callan created, and she'll tell you more about it, but that was part of our inspiration for our project. You know, I'm a sculptor and public artist, and I created this Mother Earth sculpture, which is now in 6 countries around the world, with many more on the way. But with everything that we did, we wanted to do more and we wanted to reach more. And we found that, you know, inspired by the AIDS quilts of the 1990s, which was a huge social awareness campaign about the disease, that maybe we could create something like parachutes, which is sort of like a metaphor for bringing the planet back to a safe place. And somehow and very quickly, we realized that this parachute created a sweet spot for communities around the world, as you can see the one below from Nigeria, which became sort of the photo from which I created the back of our T-shirt. And here we have some Mother Earth sculptures that were recently installed. This one is in China. This was an event that was done last week in China, in Guilin, if you've been to China. And below, this is Sandra's work in Bonn, Germany. And you can see in the distance, that tall building across the river I believe that's the UNFCCC compound. And then very most recently, last week, Laxmi in Jaipur installed the Mother Earth in this magnificent circle, which is a center circle in the city of Jaipur. I don't know how she pulled that off. She'll hopefully share with you some words about that. But that's very exciting, and she's done a tremendous amount with media, national news, and she's also taking the project across the country. And we had a dedication with many politicians and judicial officials that are very focused on the environment. So, I mean, that is a real clear indication that our project is connecting with politicians. Back here at home, we've been taking our parachutes to Congress. Here is a U.S. Senator with a parachute and climate activists. The politicians like meeting with young people, and the parachutes are a very visual way of seeing the feelings and the sentiments of these young people. And so we've been supporting our different organizations around the world with our parachutes. Here is Greta in North Carolina with one of our parachutes. We support many organizations, Fridays for Future, which is now global and in many orders of magnitude. The Citizens Climate Lobby is another organization that train chapters, communities around the world about the science of the climate emergency, and helps the local politicians create good climate legislation. So, and we also work with organizations like the Girl Scouts, which we have Amanda and her family going to be speaking about that, and the impact that the parachutes have on the Girl Scouts. In fact, we were going to go down there this day. I was supposed to be in Orlando for a national convention of 15,000 people, which included Girl Scouts from around the country and about 190 international girl organizations that were coming to this event. So, that was a big disappointment, because it would have been a great opportunity to expand the project with the Girl Scouts. And just last, I wanted to share that we have expanded our thought process. Originally my son Ari wanted to consider doing a project around homelessness, but we decided to work on the environment. And interestingly enough, we have come to realize that the environment now is inclusive of many topics, many issues, as defined by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are shown by this beautiful parachute in Zimbabwe. But our focus as a project now is expanded to these SDGs, and Black Lives Matter fits very clearly within our mission of the Mother Earth Project. And Ari's going to speak about that a little bit. But I'd like to finish up with that, and then I'd like to show you now a video which I showed last week. And I hope you enjoyed it, and then we'll get started with our featured speakers. Hi, everybody. This is Barton Rubenstein, co-founder of the Mother Earth Project. Is it working? Today, I want to share with you some very powerful video clips from parachute communities all over the world. These communities have been decorating their parachutes marching and striking with them, taking them to their local politicians to demand better climate laws, and also planning and doing sustainable actions together as communities. This is very exciting, and I'm really hoping that you enjoy these short little clips.
It's Alec Baldwin here. I would like to nominate Callan Benson for your award. I recently met her at the United Nations Environmental Program Champions of the Earth. She's responsible for the Parachutes for the Planet and Fridays for the Future programs. She's a young environmental leader who I think is very worthy of recognition.
From Canada, who with dozens of parachutes displayed at the Canadian Parliament, was part of the change. When recently passed carbon pricing legislation holding polluters responsible for their actions. We're here. Parachutes are everywhere. Parachutes are everywhere. Our parachutes are sent to us from our friend Martin Robinson, the co-founder of Mother Health Projects. And let's go through them. We have about 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ¡Viva mi libre! ¡Viva México!
Okay. All right, everyone. thanks for watching that video. And I'd like to start out our featured speakers with my son, who's going to share a little bit about his activities in the.
Hi guys. Hi guys. My name is Ari, and I am a senior in high school. And when we started the project, we started out with parachutes. We were super excited about parachutes. And we were, my dad's talked about this a lot. We've been shipping them out to many countries. But, as time went on, we realized that, awareness wasn't enough, because our initial goal of the project was awareness. And, about 2 years ago, awareness was what was important, because people weren't really informed about the climate crisis. But now that I personally feel, and I think there's a whole general vibe of people being more aware, people posting on Instagram a lot more, and just sharing out a lot more about the climate crisis. We've moved on to we've progressed past the point of awareness, and now we need to take action. So what we've been doing is we've been encouraging our parachute communities to take action with their parachutes, not only just display them, also taking them to their local government officials. My dad showed a great example of some activists taking it to meet with a senator, a U.S. senator. So yeah, we've been encouraging that all over the world. Not only that, but also taking action, meaning tearing down oppressive structures, such as white supremacy and patriarchy all over the world. So we also can, so the movement can be inclusive and include everyone, because a movement without everyone isn't the right movement. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I'm really excited.
Thanks, Ari. That was great. And Ari's fairly humble kid. He doesn't like to talk a lot about all the great things he does, but we are very proud of a lot of the work he does with inclusivity in particular. We're greatly appreciative of his focus on these equity issues are very big. Okay, I'd like to pass the mic to Kim and Callan from Maryland. You should be able to unmute yourself, and please go ahead and share some of your story. Kim and Callan, can you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Give it now. Try.
Okay, we're on.
Do you want to go first, or how do we want to do it?
Why don't you go first? Callan is actually climate striking in DC right now.
Right. I'm out striking. So I won't be able to stay long, but I'm so excited to see all of you here. Yeah, wow, it's been such a journey to get to this place and to see the parachutes grow, and everyone from around the world who has supported us. And I think it all started just around our kitchen table, trying to decide what to do for the second People's Climate March here in Washington, D.C. And I really wanted to take a giant monarch butterfly to that march for a couple of reasons. The idea of always thinking about future generations, but then also because of the butterfly effect, and some personal semblance related to one of my mentors. And we thought, and we kind of considered how we would do this, and we came up with the idea of a parachute, both for the utility of it, but also, like Barton was saying, that wonderful semblance of having a safe landing. And within 6 weeks, we made that butterfly and collected signatures from all over the DC metropolitan area, ending up with around 1,600 signatures. And just hearing everybody's stories everyone had something to say, and it's really starting to become clear how much this issue touches everyone. And none of us are going to be able to avoid the consequences of climate change. So I have just been so lucky to be a part of this, and so excited to see and watch it grow. And I'm so glad to see you all here today. Unfortunately, I can't stay for long because I'm striking, but I'm glad I got to spend some time with you. Mom, would you like to take over from here?
Sure. I just wanted to say that I think events like this are particularly important in today's world. In 2020, you heard, Ari mention the intersectionality of climate change, and that's something that people have been talking about for a long time. But 2020 has brought home to so many people who haven't been as familiar with climate change, haven't been as active in other issues, how incredibly connected all of these social issues are, all of our political issues are. And, we're bombarded every day in the news about, about the crises that we face in humanity, and how they're all amplified by climate breakdown. So, but events like this also show us. So I keep on telling people that we seem, we're living the world. We're living in the world. We're living in the future that we have been working so hard to prevent. But we're also living the future that we've been hoping to create. Because when I attend events like this and I look around and I hear the people who have been involved and hear their stories, it reminds me that that better community and that better social structure that we've been trying to build is here and it's around us. And we just have to make sure that it grows at a faster pace than, the negative elements. So we're creating it. We're seeing the future. We just have to choose which one we're going to eventually realize. So thank you all. We've just been so honored to be working with all of you on this project. And I'm just touched to see you all here.
Thank you, Kim and Callan. I just have to say that very early on when I started to go to these strikes, I have never really been the type of person to go to a strike or a protest. And my son has reminded me numerous times that silence is violence. Now we realize that we can no longer stand by and let other people lead the world and make all the changes, but we actually need to be active participants. And going to these early strikes, I just have to say, I definitely had a sense of, oh, this is neat, but there was also a sense of futility, like this is a waste of time. Why are we here with 5 people in front of the Capitol? What is it going to make a difference at all? And, and here we are now with millions of people striking around the world. Somehow it grew. People care. People are interested in being a part of this movement to have a more sustainable future. So anyway, thanks again, Kim and Callan, and it's been a great pleasure working with you guys. They have been environmental activists for many years, so we have a very, our learning curve has been helped, and we're grateful for them for helping us, bringing us up the curve quickly. All right, we're gonna move actually now to, I think, David Michael from Nigeria. And David Michael has a very large environmental footprint around the world as far as his contribution. So I don't know whether are you around, David Michael? I don't see you, but if you are, could you open your mic and start to share your story with us, please? Okay, go ahead. Try again. David Michael, are you here with us? I don't see him on the Zoom call. So maybe we will come back to him. Let's see, how about Didier? Is Didier here from Burundi? It'd be great to hear from Didier. It's hard to see everybody all at once. All right, well, we'll go out of order. And I know that Laxmi is here. Laxmi, can you, are you with us right now? Sorry for, let's see here. Okay. What we'll do then is we're going to jump around, and I'm going to look at people that that I see, and maybe is Sadie. Sado, can you share with us? Why don't you start up and share something about Morocco and your efforts, and please share your story. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
You have to ask them to unmute themselves.
You have to unmute yourself.
Dad, you have to ask
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Try now. Seda, try to unmute yourself. Can you do it?
Then
There you go. Go ahead, please.
Me, before talking about who I am, I'm going to ask you something. Ask yourselves what you can do to protect your planet, like you protect your mother. Because our planet is our mother, and if our mother are sick, we are feeling sick. And if she breathes hard, we are breathing hard. Please, love your planet as you are loving your mom. So, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Saïd El Jadid from Morocco. Actually, I'm working at Ministry of Youth and Sports, of Culture, Youth and Sports at Youth and Sports Department. And I will talk about my community in relation with environmental topic. Morocco joined international community in civil environment a while ago. And our civil society played a big role to face environmental issues by encouraging citizens to participate at sustainable actions. In addition, there are two programs. The first is Ecology Schools. The school commits to work on three axes: trash, water, and energy. And every school have to realize every axe objectives to get green banner. And ecology tourism is a program in collaboration with civil society based on organizing the trip to discover natural areas and get to know the ecological diversity we have and how to serve it. Moreover, I chose to be part of this movement by engaging in voluntary work. We organized mini strolls to the mountains to encourage our community to participate in ecotourism. In addition, I chose to be part of this movement, and so I participate in every activities about environmental topic, and we contributed in schools workshop to our children about the importance of protect our environment. And we integrated them in activities of rubbish days collection to face rubbish issues because it's one of environmental problems we suffer from in my city. And I participated with Mother Earth project in parachute activity, and it was a successful activity. I collaborated with an association. At the same time, we integrated the children to aware them about the importance of environmental protection. And we meet together two parachutes, which signify environmental issues. And these two parachutes, we have two parachutes. The first is about the trash problem, and the second is about the carbon pollution. And we know all how pollution affects on climate, and it's not easy to face climate change problem. But together, I think we can do it. When we talk about climate change, we talk about the disruption and in the global climate system. For example, poor rain or more heavy rain. a higher or lower temperature. Imagine with me, there is no rain, so no life. I can feel how it's so dangerous. Because I lived it this year in my city, sometimes no water to drink, no shower. It's so hard to see that. And I think we should to action together, making real progress. And most important is integrate children at this moment. Because if we get a future generation aware about dangerous environmental issues, so we make a real sustainable actions. And this is my future project vision. Thank you.
It's a pleasure hearing you speak, Seda. And Seda was one of the first parachute communities to send us a video of her talking about the environment. And I was, you know, these videos are very moving, but this is one of the early ones. So when I received that from her and her community, I knew that we were heading in the right direction. So thanks a lot again, Seda.
You're welcome.
I think we have David Michael on the call now, and I would love for him to share. If you could turn your video on, maybe, and it's David Michael. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
David, are you there? Ask to start video. Let's see. David
Okay.
Michael.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm sincerely sorry I'm not able to share my video at the moment because as I'm speaking with you, there is no power where I am. And if I do, my battery is going to run down. So I sincerely apologize. I'm going to be very brief so I don't bore you, but I just want to let you know that the parachute for two that we enjoyed using to spread the climate awareness here in Africa. I got to know about the parachute for the climate in 2018 fire across the African cities. I'm sure when African countries, the CCL Africa took this and it became, I remember future events, it was parachute for the climate all across the continent. And thank you, Barton, for sharing those parachutes with us. For myself and my organization and my community here in Abuja, Nigeria, we had, I would say, some of the very best parachutes that you would love to see them. Some of them were on display in Washington, D.C. We had a festival for arts and parachutes sometime in 2018, where students in Abuja, Nigeria, displayed arts. I would say the word of it's a very powerful tool of communication, a very powerful tool of reaching out to the heart and the emotions of individuals and people. I just want to say that for us here in Africa, they're happening for the future anymore. But we are happy that we are gone are the days when people just argue that, oh, this issue was not caused by African countries. We are still developing. We are not the ones that are emitting the greenhouse gases. But the good news is that Africa is solution. What is the solution? We we are in the very best place for we're preaching. Through the parachute that speaks to the heart and the emotions of people. It's a very great. Thank you, Burton. I want to sincerely apologize for what happened last Friday. I wish many more persons would have turned up. Last week, it was close to 200 people. Today, I see 50. It's not bad. Thank you very much.
Yeah. David Michael, thank you so much for speaking. It's, I have to say, David Michael is a very articulate speaker. And unfortunately, there are a lot of communities around the world that don't have access to electricity. They have blackouts. People are actually presently sending me messages saying that they can't connect because their bandwidth is not large enough. So I'm greatly appreciative of those people that can be here today, and I completely understand others that can't communicate the way we would love to hear them. So I have had the pleasure of meeting David Michael in Washington, D.C. for the CCL, the Citizens Climate Lobby International Conference, where they spend a couple days learning about the science of climate change, and also then they spend a day going to Congress and meeting and having meetings, private meetings with different congressmen. This organization is the Real McCoy, and they're very focused on carbon pricing legislation. They have some big success stories to share. Canada was a recent one that just passed carbon pricing legislation. And this is a great way to incentivize polluters to reduce the pollution that they create. And it's been shown in many countries now. Africa is very focused on doing the same, and they are making some very important inroads. Anyway, thank you, David Michael. I'm not sure whether we have Laxmi. I see her spinning fan, but if you're there, Laxmi, come to the mic. In the meantime, I'm going to move to maybe we can. Oh, are you there, Laxmi? If you are there, Laxmi, can you unmute yourself and share some of your story? Laxmi? Okay. Why don't we shift gears and come, and I see Amanda Weiss is here. Amanda, would you bring your family to the mic? And I would love to hear you share some of the story about the Girl Scouts and your involvement with Girl Scouts and also the parachutes for the Planet Project. And introduce your family, please. Go ahead. You have to unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Amanda Weiss, and like you said, I'm a Girl Scout troop leader. I've got 6 kids. This is Rachel. We have Kayla. You gonna put your head in? There's Kayla, and here's Kristen. The 3 of them are in my Girl Scout troops. And with Girl Scouts, we're with Girl Scouts of Western Pennsylvania in the United States. And with Girl Scouts, we encourage the girls to follow things that they're passionate about. And one of the things that we often see is that they're attracted to helping others and their environment. And, we've really tried to encourage that. One of the older troops, Kristen's troop, actually decided to host an environmental fair a few years ago. And they were able to get quite a few, and that's how we actually got involved with the parachutes. We found out through one of the girls' teachers about the parachute project, and the girls were able to sponsor quite a few parachutes, and we got a chance to go to DC for one of the events. This is actually one of the ones we've done more recently. We had that one was through our community and the Girl Scout troop leaders in our area. And we included on there that one of the Girl Scout laws includes using resources wisely, and the people from the community put their handprints on there to say, things that is important to them about the environment. And so we as the leaders try to help the girls to learn that everyone can make a difference, even if you're just doing, it doesn't matter how small or big, because it starts to, as Barton had mentioned before, like that's how things start to grow. You start off small and, hopefully it will catch on. My girls are going to have some stuff to tell you about some of the projects that we've worked on, and this is Rachel.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm 8 years old. I'm a second-year brownie. We like to spend lots of our time exploring nature. When we go outside, we try to leave no trace. We make sure we don't leave trash behind and don't disturb habitats. We also pick up trash when we find it. Our group made birdhouses, and some of the older girls made bat houses. We enjoy nature and want to keep it safe and beautiful for everyone.
All right. Yeah. Come on, Kayla.
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm 11 years old and a first-year cadet. We have as many outdoor meetings as we can. When our meetings are indoors, we only turn on the lights that we need to conserve energy. Girl Scouts love to sing around the campfire and eat s'mores. But we know it's important to keep fires small to limit air pollution. We always keep water nearby and make sure our fire is completely extinguished to prevent forest fires. We don't like what we have learned about plastic. We ask all of our girls to use reusable water bottles. Also, we make the food we will use to avoid waste. Speaking of recycling, my sister has more to say about our projects.
Everyone, my name is Kristen. I'm 13 years old and I'm a third-year cadet. For 5 years now, my Girl Scout troop has collected gently used toys for an organization called Play It Forward. This organization, instead of throwing old toys away, they give them to families who are less fortunate. This not only helps struggling families, but also the earth, because the toys don't have to go to a landfill. Throughout the years, our troop alone has collected over 10,000 toys. Another thing I enjoy doing in Girl Scouts is repurposing what would be considered garbage. When we do crafts, our materials often consist of natural or recycled items. For example, my bracelet here is made out of pop tabs, and my necklace is an acorn cap. Creations with materials like these don't require you to purchase factory-made craft supplies, which is much better for the planet and also helps you save some money as well. On that note, I will hand you back over to my mom.
So as you can see, some of these projects that we start off with the girls we start off doing things as a group, and we start off with things that are small. As they get older, the girls start to branch out and start to build on and to do projects on their own. For instance, we have an older Girl Scout last year that worked on a project that worked a lot with invasive species and reintroducing different areas for animals such as bats and frogs. And there was a project that she built on her own, and she was actually able to get quite a few people involved with the project. And we were saying planting the seeds in the environment responsibility is the best way to help it to grow. So that's what we had for you.
That's very fantastic. It's great to hear the young voices. Love to hear that. I mean, that's what this is about, is activating the youth. Not only us, everybody has to be involved. So, I mean, I just want to say thank you for sharing those words. Awesome. Laxmi, I see you were there. Are you, we'd love to hear from you. She went away for a little bit. There she is, Laxmi. Can you unmute yourself and share some of your story, please? She was on for a little bit, and I want to catch her because she has, she's fantastic, and I'd love her to share. Laxmi? Okay, maybe we will come back to her. Why don't we, let's see, maybe Sanjit, could you share some of your words? Sanjit is a recent, we have just recently made connections with Sanjit. She is a local high school student in the Washington, Maryland area, and she's very focused on plant-based diet. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Sanjit. Please, go ahead.
Hi, Martin. It's really great to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Sangeeta Nand, and I am so excited to be part of this climate action revolution. I'm the CEO of Eat Kind Corporation, which is a nonprofit that I started to address the importance of a plant-based diet for the environment. So for those of you who don't know what plant-based is, it's like the vegan vegetarian diet where you focus on removing animal sources of protein, dairy, all these kinds of products from your lifestyle as well as your diet to enhance the environment and obviously contribute to sustainable causes. So I've been vegan now for about 3 years, and before that I was vegetarian for all my life. And it started from the ethical standpoint, but as I read more about it, I found out the amount of carbon emissions that go into the environment because of the meat that we consume, especially in the United States. So I took an active initiative in my community to educate individuals on the benefits of a plant-based diet. And so I have my own YouTube channel. I interview people from around the world who are vegans, famous people, and they all tell me that the impact that a plant-based diet has had on their own personal well-being. First of all, it's better for your body. It helps you lose weight. It keeps you focused on your tasks. But it's really helpful for the environment. So notably, eating a vegan, vegetarian, and plant-based diet has several positive impacts, such as reducing water wastage, slowing down deforestation, and reducing carbon emissions. And these are some of the benefits. And so I've taken it upon myself to work with local communities in my community centers, religious centers, through seminars and workshops and cooking events. So I showcase plant-based recipes, vegan recipes that can be easily integrated into our diets, because a lot of people don't know what a plant-based diet is. So it's really great to see. And then sort of my nonprofit's mission, Eat Kind Corporation, is creating a healthier world. And I'm so excited to be doing that with Mother Earth Project. And just to give you sort of a perspective, just 100 companies are responsible for 71% of carbon emissions. So when you think about that, only 100 companies in the world, and they're primarily oil companies, but some of the ways that we can reduce this impact is the type of either looking at sustainable sources of meat, if you do eat meat, cutting down the amount of meat that you eat, or completely eliminating it from your diet. So how can you help, right? There's a chain reaction. So if you have a recipe that you really like that's plant-based, you go in your community and you take that recipe and give it to other people, and they start eating it. They're like, oh, actually, I don't really need meat. And then you can educate them. So a meat eater actually has about twice as much carbon emissions as a vegan. So 3.3 tons of carbon emission a year, while a vegan has just under half of that, with 1.5 tons of carbon dioxide emission. So let's say if you eat beef every single day, that's equivalent to 26 kilograms of CO2. And that's the amount of CO2 that it actually takes to travel from Boston to Norway. So that's without even considering the implications of how that food is produced. 574 million metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions are released in the United States each year, and 56 metric tons in Canada. So sort of our mission now to focus on is how you can practice activism with what you eat. Activism extends to climate strikes, it extends to the art that we've made. I see Barton has the Save the Earth sign behind him. And there's activism with what you practice, what you eat, the types of products that you buy, not supporting fast fashion, and all of these other things. So really our environmental impact is off of the food that we eat, and how can you contribute to reducing these emissions, and how can you incorporate more plant-based foods into your diet so that we can have a better planet. And just in the chat box, I'll attach my my nonprofit's website if you'd like to learn more. Thank you all for listening, and I really hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Sanjit. That was great. And this is a very, very important topic. There's so much to learn about this topic, about basically agriculture that supports the cattle industry, and there's so much to talk about. And we're actually going to have Sanjit in the next month or two come back for a longer presentation and more information for those who want to learn more about what a plant-based, the effects, the positive effects that one could have on the environment by having a plant-based diet. I personally, it took me about 3 years to become a vegetarian and then a vegan, and it was not an easy process. And but it happened, and it just happened naturally. And I guess my inspiration was Novak Djokovic, who's the #1 tennis player in the world. And I figured, as a tennis player myself, if he can be such a good player with that type of diet, why can't I? And so that's an inspiration. Thank you, Sanjit. Okay, I don't know whether Andrew Mohammed can speak. He's from, he did not speak yet. So Andre, are you around, and can you share your video? That would be great. And if you can't share video, you can just speak.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, my name is Andrew. I learned about Mother Earth Project through CCLO, and I applied for Jude. Then the very important is I have a background in political science. At first, I thought that climate change is not about me, but after losing my property through flood, was taken by flood.
Andrew, Andrew, you might consider turning off your video, because we are struggling to hear your voice. And maybe yes, give that a try, please.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, then I remember when I went to post office to pick my parachute, some of post office officers, they started joking at me that I have brought a camping tent. Even at school where we are using it, they thought that we have brought camping tent, and we have brought, we are going to start flying. But the much very interesting is that we found that parachute is very, very interesting material in climate change, because I distributed, and we did a 20 climate campaign using parachute, and I also distributed 10 parachute in different clubs, human rights, climate change clubs in schools. We are using this, we are not using this as a fun, but we are using this as climate awareness. Because at first, as I told you, people thought that we are using it for fun. But slowly by slowly, they are learning that we are using this as a climate change awareness in our community. Now people, they started calling us, our group, they are calling us, these are the people of climate change. So the important also is another, the message we put on parachute. So people at first, in distance, they see it as any other material, but when they come closer, they get interested to see what is written on those parachutes. So what I want to let you know is that parachute has become a symbol of climate change awareness in our community. What I have loved in this conference, I have seen a lot of young people, even children of my very, very, very young children who are interested in climate change. So we also work with secondary schools and primary schools because we need to teach young people what climate change and the problem caused by climate change. So we want to reach more schools. I have now 30 parachute. So I want every school in my community to have each parachute and design. So thank you for giving me this chance to present my idea on how we are using parachute. Please, we have come the symbol of climate change awareness in our community through parachute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. That was a great presentation. And as you might know, Andrew's from Rwanda, and he is very excited to be a part of the project, and we're so excited to connect with him. Okay, next up, I'd like to have Stella from Kenya. Her full name is Stella Nyambura Mabau. I hope I pronounced that close enough, but if you are there, Stella, could you please unmute yourself and share some of your story? There she is.
Hi, everyone. You didn't completely butcher it, but my name is Stella Nyambura Mbau. I'm joining in from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm 31 years old. I am a Kikuyu. That's one of the Kenyan tribes, but we speak Swahili in Kenya. It's our national language. That's a unifying native language. I'm a scientist for future, and a climate expressionist. I use my blog much to do in commentary fashion to present the climate science in the context of Kenya, Africa even. I offer myself to various climate and environmental movements with a focus on content contribution on the same. I'm also a climate resilience consultant and founder, CEO of Lava Limited, whose focus is climate related. I'll speak on our current venture in a bit. Behind me, which I don't think you can see very well, is our waste sorting bags. I don't have my parachutes yet. So this is from a company that's called Takataka Solutions. In Swahili, takataka is waste. They drop these bags every so often and pick up our trash 3 times a week. And I must say, this isn't a service that's commonplace in Kenya or Africa in general. So I have a particular appreciation for it. I've been to the waste sorting yard when I was doing my research on plastic waste pollution. So I know that they handle waste with care. The kind of care I care for reusing, recycling, repurposing, composting, and yeah, across the board, they know what they're doing. A bit about my community, or what I consider to be my community. I have in the past year devoted my time to establishing climate friendships with activists, organizations, volunteers. The aim in part has been to enable collaboration on continental climate action in order to increase awareness, and even more, enable us to explore the essence of climate governance in Africa. Case in point, we, the activists, and by the agency of LOBA, an open letter to the African Union and its leadership was successfully submitted in July with over 1,500 supporters, which was a great success. It was a letter that demanded better climate governance in Africa. And the petition is still up for anyone who'd like to add the signature. I will drop the link a bit later in the chat. I'll also briefly talk about my experience with sustainable activities. I'm a minimalist, at least I think I am. I think this is something I've picked up from my parents. My dad is an economist and my mom is an auditor. So there's always a sense of austerity on one side and checks and balances on the other. By default, I find myself trapped somewhere in between. They are also in touch with nature, and I think a bit of that has rubbed off on me. I am vegan as well. I've had people talk about that. I have allergies. For me, it was not a calculated move. I have allergies, something to do with animal protein. So the itching, acne keeps me away. It's a great coincidence for me, I feel, that it happens to also be good for the planet. Some epic fails on my part. I do my own checks and balances. I love to plant all kinds of things because we keep seeds after food prep. However, tending to whatever planted, the watering, the caring is something I have found to be a challenge, and I believe I'm not alone. I'm also really good at wasting water. When I'm doing dishes, I often find myself lecturing myself. Something to do with the pouring water, splashing is maybe therapeutic, I don't know. I'm working on it. Future-wise, I'm looking at having a store that sells reusables, refillables, biodegradables, and so on. Anything that promotes waste-free, carbon-free, and is locally produced. I learned from some volunteers on a past project that we have these refillables, shower gel, toothpaste, stuff that I have always been interested in, but had no idea was available. So not having that information makes these goods, the products, inaccessible. That's where I got the idea for the fair from. We'll launch later in the year. We've already had quite a number of people show interest, which is great. I think I have a lot of plans to do with sustainability, but I wanted to share that, something that I'm actively currently exploring. There are a lot of other ideas along these lines, which is exciting. In fact, if you'd be so inclined, I will post some links in the chat again. You could follow us or tag us in your climate conversations. Creating awareness is part of our founding propositions. So with that, I'd love to say thank you for listening, and I join all of you from all over the world for the world we want in 2045. And I hope we get to show our posters because I took some time to do that. Yeah, so thank you. Back to you, Barton.
Stella, thank you so much. Stella is a tremendous new contact for our project. She's a very bright young woman with a lot of activism under her belt already, and she's a scientist, and she has helped our project expand to numerous countries, not just in Kenya. So we were greatly appreciative of that. I see we have more speakers, so I'm going to move on to Kevin Buckland, who is a person that we met in Barcelona on our trip a few years ago. Kevin originally worked for 350.org, which is a big organization focused on the environment. And he actually started the art program at 350.org. He now has a young family, and we'd love to hear from him, but he has been marching with parachutes in Barcelona. So Kevin, if you're there, could you please unmute yourself and share some of your story with everybody?
Hi, Barton, and hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. Bienvenidas desde Barcelona. And the caveat is I'm sitting right next to my 2.5-year-old child. I don't have other childcare right now, so you're going to hear squeaking and me reacting quickly if he falls. But he's having dinner, so it should be all right. So just quickly about myself, as Barton mentioned, I've been involved with the global climate justice movement for about almost 15 years now. And it's been really exciting to feel like I've been coming of age with a movement. And so exciting to see, especially in the past 2 years, this explosion of action and energy around climate, which is exactly what we need. And what my work has been since the beginning is really planting the seeds of how creativity is such an important part of how we're communicating about climate and climate science and helping people to feel that. I think as movements, we're often explaining the logic and reaching people's brains, but we really need to be reaching their hearts. So projects such as this are so wonderful, not only because they're creating these amazing visuals that allow groups to directly communicate their message in a big, clear, exciting way, but also because the very process of collective art projects like this have been super useful, as an example I'll share in a minute, for actually bringing groups together and actually having people working with their hands together. In organizing, we can often sit around talking a lot, but actually doing stuff with our hands is so empowering. So would always always encourage everyone to, after the meeting, get together and paint a parachute or paint a banner or something. And that really helps with team morale. So I am part of an international collective called the Artivist Network, artivistnetwork.org. We are a global network devoted to lifting up the role of artists in the climate movement, to both help activists to be more strategic with their use of creativity, and also to help, sorry, being distracted, also to help artists to be more strategic in their engagement. Often artists are great communicators. Artists can be great communicators, but don't necessarily know the strategic way to get involved. And often activists are sitting around thinking, we need to do something creative. And artists can bring that forward. And projects such as this that offer a clear format for creativity are wonderful. So besides the Global Artivist Network, here locally, I'm part of a collective called Climaxio. And about 2 years ago now, we organized a big climate march here in Barcelona. And we saw that there was a lot of energy now, and we were ready to try to do something bigger. And so we used a complete arts organizing strategy. The whole thing was based on getting people into a space to paint stuff. And that was a way for them to deepen their engagement, because the strategy was not just to have a march, but actually to build a community. And our group grew out of the arts organizing that happened there. And as a caveat, I'm not looking at time, so let me know when I should be wrapping up. And so in that march, we ended up having 2 parachutes there, and one of them was painted by a local university group called the Degrowth School. And this is a group of really intelligent academics who are trying to translate the ideas about how how growth is not compatible with the climate emergency, and we actually need to be talking about limiting growth and limiting consumption. So they got together, and it was wonderful to watch this process because I gave them a blank parachute and said, okay, this is you guys paint it. And while they had been working together in academic settings for almost a year, this was the first time they had to collectively decide, okay, well, what are we doing? And they had to decide what it said and decide what colors to use. And they ended up painting a giant snail, which is the sort of symbol of degrowth and slowing down. And then they carried that, and they've been using that ever since as sort of the primary visual to go along with their communication around these sort of more academic ideas. Another parachute we painted was just the planet Earth. And then actually that has been used a bunch we passed it on to Fridays for Future group here, and they've been using that a lot in their marches. So it's been exciting to see how many different lives these things have. Shall I keep going, or are we good?
Well, thank you. We actually have a lot of speakers ahead of us, and
I'll leave it there then.
What's so amazing about Kevin is that he's been in the art and climate activism for many more years than any of us, and to hear his perspective is very powerful. So I look forward to more collaborative work together, Kevin. I know you have pending issues with your young one, but it was great to see your face on this call.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me. I'll put our website into the chat in case anyone wants to follow us. And see you all in the streets.
Great. Thank you. So we have some more speakers here, and I'm just going to, every time I see Laxmi come to the video, she disappears. So what I might do is I'm going to put the next speaker on, but if I see Laxmi show up, I might interrupt for a second to get her attention. So maybe Mohammed, if you are available, I would love to hear some of your story. Can you hear me? And if you can, could you please unmute yourself and share some of your work in Nigeria? Please go ahead.
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Muhammad Almaru from Nigeria. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for about 2 decades. In my school where I have been teaching until last year, I founded the Environment Club. And it will interest you to know that we're just doing our thing locally without any affiliation, having understood that we have challenges in our environment. It's a remote community where we have farmers, and we notice that a great number of them are engaged in harmful agricultural practices, especially deforestation, which we notice is beginning to cause a big problem in the environment. And I said, okay, how do we get to the community to reach them to change their harmful agricultural practices? We may not be able to do that, but at least we know the students that are in the school come from different community, and we can use these students to reach out to the community. And so that was how we founded the Environment Club. And it interests you to know that having found the Environment Club, we discussed with parents through the Parent Teachers Association. And from there, it was agreed that the club is endorsed, and there has to be a club for all the students, not just only a few students. So it became a club of the school and a club for all students. And so from there, we carried out a lot of activities. We've always been celebrating World Environment Day every year for about 4 or 5 years now. People will come give presentations, and at the same time, we encourage the students to write poems, to make short play, and do some drama to drive home some of the environmental messages. Then we follow it all with tree planting. It will interest you to know that as at the time I left last year, we planted and nurtured successfully over 70 trees, and some of them are already bearing fruits. So that has been my activity in that aspect. And so from there, through my networking and social media opportunity, I got to know Mr. Michael David, of the Gift and CCL Africa. So from there, I got introduced into CCL Africa as it is now. I'm active volunteer of Citizen Climate Lobby Africa. So there I got to know Mr. Parachute came up. And when it came up, he suggested to me, will you and your student be interested in doing this? And I said, why not? If it is going to be an opportunity to tell our story in a different way. And so we got interested, and we were able to produce the first 2 parachutes, even though we couldn't get good materials to make their production, but at least we were able to drive home our message. And in the community, we got engaged, we went round, we showed it round, we drive home the message, especially as regards deforestation. We made the people to see the harms and the danger, the effects and the danger in deforestation. So that has been what we have into. And then when I left, having had this rapport with parachute projects, so Mother Heart project, the parachute mission still continues. So I got relocated. I left where I was working and relocated to a new place. In my new place, I just pick up, typical of me, I look at some organizations, some youth-based organization. And so there I started connecting with youth-based organizations, those ones who are actively involved in issues of SDG and the environment and peace especially. And so from there, I got some parachutes to their activities. Anytime they have activities, I got invited, and I tell them the idea. We have this project that is a parachute. You write your message, you tell the world the way you see things, and let the people see your own story as regards to the environment. And so that has been what I've been into. And then just as recent as about 4 or 3 weeks past, when the International Peace Day was celebrated, I was involved with some other organizations. We took the parachute to the documents and the state governor's office, where the senior special advisor to the governor was made to even sign some commitments and message of peace on the parachute, so which is our latest activity. But as it is now, what I intend to continue to do is to get involved in lots of youth activities. I was with the Rotaract International, the Baden branch. We did a cleanup of some part of the city, trying to drive home the message of sanitation to our people. It's a big challenge here. So, and at the same time, we have also noticed that there are a lot of agro-processing. So we want to engage them and talk to them and see how we can make them to engage better practices in the way they process the food and other agricultural produce. Then I also will want to see if we can begin to get our people to tinker with the idea of renewable energy, even though to most of our people it seems expensive and unaffordable for now. But at least when we look at the advantages, especially as this, even if the national grid has not been so consistent. So sometimes the light can be off. Like last week program I couldn't come up because there was no lights for about 3 or 4 days. We couldn't connect to the national grid, even though I had a small solar panel, which is just to light the homes, and it couldn't charge anything. So this is a campaign that I look forward to do, network with more youth organizations, encourage renewable energy, and at the same time see if we can get women group or women association who are in agro processing to engage in better practices. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mohammed. That was great. That was great. And I really appreciate your words and your efforts. You're very busy, and it's awesome. Laxmi, I see you in the corner of your screen. Are you ready to join us? Great. There she is. Can you unmute yourself, please, and share? Laxmi is in India, in Jaipur, India, which is a beautiful city that I have not visited yet, but I've seen photos, and you just saw a photo of the sculpture in the video of the recent installation of the Mother Earth Project. So Laxmi, if you could show your face and turn on your, unmute yourself. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, Laxmi, you're mute. Mute button. Click the button in the bottom left. You'll see a microphone. We can't hear you, Laxmi. See if you can find your, she just left. Ask to unmute.
All right, we'll get back to
her. Okay. All right, so we'll get back to her. Al Hassan, I see that you are there with your friends and family around, and it would be awesome if you could share some of your words. Al Hassan is from Sierra Leone, so please go ahead, Al Hassan.
Good day to you all. Sorry, maybe you'll be hearing some noise at the background. I'm Alassane Cissé from Sierra Leone, the founder and president of the School Green Club. We work with schools in the area of environmental issues, climate change, education, and agriculture. I would say we are the first group in Sierra Leone that started the Friday for Future strike, and I'm happy that can you hear me, Banting?
Yes, you sound great. Continue.
So, we are the first group that started the Friday for Future strike, and I'm happy that I met you. That we decided to work on parachutes for Mother Earth. So we decided to form this organization in 2015 when climate change started hitting Sierra Leone. And maybe you've heard most of the news that we had mudslide, flooding that killed more than thousands of people. So we are presently working with schools who want to catch them when they are young. So that's why we decided to work with schools, because we don't want to do the same mistake that our parents did, that they were not able to give us the education or the knowledge or sensitization that we need to take care of the environment. So that's why we decided to work with schools in the area of climate change. So far, so good. We are working with 10 schools for now. And recently, we took part in the global climate strike. Because of COVID-19, we are not able to gather a lot of people. We only gathered some of the volunteers that you are seeing at the background. So we are happy that we are creating a change, because we think this is our role as young people, and this is our role as activists in this part of the world. We are also engaged in tree planting and also plastic recycling. As I speak to you, we are presently doing a project called Plastic Push the Beaches, because we came to realize that most of the issue that we have with the sea is through plastic. So we are recycling plastic. For now, we are using plastic to grow crops. Maybe I will show you, I will send you some of these pictures that we see. And we've got the funding from organization in the US that fund us to do that. And presently, we're also working with the European Union and also the government of Sierra Leone. Just yesterday, we received a letter from the government of Sierra Leone to plant 4,000 trees all over the country. So we are happy that we started this work. And so far, so good. We are happy that the young guys are ready to be part of the change that we want. I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Al Hassan, it's a pleasure hearing your story in Sierra Leone. We've been working with these communities for a number of years now, and it's been just a real pleasure for me, and we're happy to help you amplify your voices. I think we now have Laxmi on the line, which I've been trying to get a hold of her. And Laxmi, can you open up your mic and share some of your story? Okay. Oh, I see. She says her mic is not working. All right. Why don't we go to, we have a few more speakers to close out our meeting today. And we have Sandra Prüfer from Bonn, Germany, who I would love for her to share some of her words about her activities in Germany. And also she's our MEP director for the union. Laxmi, are you there suddenly?
Yeah, I'm here only.
Okay, why don't
my picture is not there.
I'm
What
going
I
to
do.
let Laxmi talk first, and then we'll go to Sandra. Now that we have Laxmi, I've been struggling to get your attention, but please go ahead, Laxmi.
Okay. So I'm going to start about my past also. Past I was simply a educator, and I worked for 40 years. And in the meantime, I joined high school, 12th standard school. And after that, I was the postgraduate. I was postgraduate in literature and economics also, and MED also, Master of Education. And after that, I joined Delhi USO Regional Center. From there, I went so many countries for the sake of informal education. They called me in so many conferences like Heritage and Environment, e-learning, and so many. An exchange program also I did like that. After that, I joined Lifelink program in Sweden, and I was in Sweden. Every year we go in the month of June, 16th June, and I am the educator also. Hans Levender was there, he was our head, and now he is no more, so John is there, Johnson. After that, I joined your organization, and now at present I am in MEP, Mother Project. And this project is really very sharp and very nice also, and it needs patience, because in a very few time we can't change the world, because there's so many problems are with us. COVID-19 is the first problem in our way. We can't meet, we can't talk to each other except online. And this work climate to change, going to the field, to go with the pupil to do some work, it is not sufficient on online. It should be by work. We go there, we meet there, we join each other, and we can work also. So recently I dropped a letter to Bombay and Delhi, and I think 1,500 people from Bombay are going to join me, and from Delhi also, and I will distribute the work according to state wise, and then I will do. And I will ask them what you have done, and they will give me the report, and I will start. Now the climate is such a procedure, it is very struggling, especially for the developing countries. And developing countries are facing too much because the people are not going to cooperate to each other. Some of the people are cooperating, but everyone is not going to cooperate. That's why it is a hurdle for us. And for a climate change, we want soil, water, and pure air also. So if we are not getting energy due to the diseases, due to the water paucity, how can we change the world within a few time? Still in Jaisalmer, 1 lakh plants are going to they grow the 1 lakh plants in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan. And one of the IS who was my tenant, he is there. So he sent me the report, Lakshmi, your work is going to be done there in Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer is such a very beautiful place, and Jaipur is a very big city. Jaipur is also a very big city. 4 million people are staying in Jaipur. And Rajasthan is such a big state throughout India. You an historical place also, Rajasthan. So everybody want to come, and by the grace of God, Mr. Barton presented as a sculpture to us, and we are very thankful and let the work done. We are looking forward that day that his dream should be true if he has done such a great work for us. But let us see. Nobody can be against the luck. But still, we should work hard. Next thing is this, that we all want to change the world, but there are some hurdles also. The gases, the mills. If a person want to go to school or want to go to office, according to distance, can't he leave one day for car? Can't he leave one day? Can't he go by cycle? I am asking to the people that once in a week you go by cycle, don't waste energy. So though it is a very difficult also, the people are very much acquainted with the cars and motorcycle and all. I am just going to plan if one day in a week you leave totally and you go by bike for some distance, up to some distances, not too much, up to some distances. In America, it is very difficult because the distances are very wide. I went to America, Florida, and Washington also. When I didn't know who is Barton, I went before 10 years to Washington, and roads, all the countries, Barcelona also I went Venice, Hangzhou, China 2 times, Moscow 5 times, and Grozny, Russia, Moscow, everywhere I went. I got 17, 18 conferences in the worldwide. So I know what is the culture, what is the stamina of the people, how they are, their behavior, everything. So now I don't feel there is any difficulty, but still, due to COVID, we are hands up nowadays. But still we are doing by online, by talking, and whatever conversation we can. But by working we can't, because we are not going to out. Because nowadays in Jaipur also it is declared red area now. So in red area we can't go out. So even we can't go out for our grocery and anything. So it is very difficult, but still the day it will go, or it will go by and by, then I will try my best to manage in India, and I think I can get success. Thank you, Martin.
Laxmi, thank you so much. Laxmi, as you can tell, is a real mover. She has accomplished a lot, and you know, most countries are very difficult to bring a Mother Earth sculpture and put it on a public piece of land because there's a lot of bureaucracy. But not for Laxmi. She has a lot of connections, and she obviously has a lot of people who call her mother, which means that she is a mentor.
And you see, I worked 1 month in COVID hospital. In hospital nowadays, 1 month, I got the certificate in COVID-19. I worked there for the poor people.
That's very kind of you, and you are.
I have given them food. I have given them money, whatever I can, and I have given them clothes also.
Yeah.
And mask.
We are so grateful for all of your efforts, Laxmi. Thank you for sharing your.
But still, I'm not satisfied with my work.
It's just a small
I want to do more.
story. So, and we have many. Sorry. We have many.
Sculpture. One thing more. Everybody is coming to the sculpture and asking, what is the theme of this? What is the theme? So now I am going to write whole of the theme on the black stone, and I will put it there.
Oh, okay.
Because the walker comes every day. Every day the walker come and stay there. What is that?
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
So much.
To aware the public.
Yes, it's fantastic. So I think we're going to go from one Mother Earth sculpture in India, and we're going to travel virtually across into Europe and go to Germany to Sandra, who also has.
Yes, and I want to meet her.
Yeah, well, here she is. Sandra, if you could turn your mute
She
off.
was here just now. She was here just now.
Here she comes.
I've seen, yeah.
Well, thank you to everyone.
Hello.
I'm
Lakshmi.
I feel so inspired, and it's really great to connect with the global Mother Earth and Parachutes for the Planet community. Now here in Bonn, I kind of like jump-started the Parachutes for the Planet community a year ago, and this was there was a local SDG awareness campaign, and I really thought, you know, how can we engage local groups, schools, initiatives, project, and I contacted Barton, and I said, well, I want to paint 17 parachutes for the planet for the 17 sustainable development goals during this local action weeks. Now, Bonn is also a UN city, and we are the host city of the UN Climate Secretariat. There's a total of 20 UN organizations here, but also some other actors dealing with sustainable development and green economy. And but there's kind of like a disconnect. So we have on one side this international community here, this closed events, you know, happening every normally in a normal year, like in Bonn, where we have all these delegates from all over the country coming here to Bonn, but they don't connect with the local community. And I thought, okay, this Parachute for the Planet initiative would be kind of like a great thing to engage the local community, neighborhood, schools, but also connect these ecosystem that we have here. What was interesting, you know, the project really gained momentum. Initially, we only, wanted to paint 17 parachutes, and people were asking me, hey, can we have another parachute? And artists, they wanted to join. So, and I really spread it also through the For Future communities. So these are also the Artists for Future, the Parents for Future, the Fridays for Future. And they really use these parachutes to raise awareness. And I really like what Ari said in his opening statement. It's not anymore about raising awareness. Now we have to create action. So they took it to the city hall and various events, and they became very creative. The Mother Earth sculpture, the first one that was installed, has been installed here in Europe, in Bonn. Now Bonn is the former West Germany capital. And when the government, and this was now 30 years ago that Germany was reunited, then the government moved to Berlin. And now Bonn became kind of like a UN city, and a lot of international organizations that are dealing with climate change, sustainability, they moved to Bonn. So we basically here a hotspot. So it's very significant for us also, in and local grassroots organizations, that the first Mother Earth sculpture being installed in Europe, that just happened in Bonn. And the Mother Earth sculpture is facing the UN campus. It was really difficult to do this during a Corona year, but we were so happy that it happened, and I'm so more delighted that this is also now happening in India. Various initiatives, artists came on board. So we started out with 17 parachutes decorated by local schools, initiatives, and so forth. But this has now gained momentum, and we have also now artists that are painting parachutes on certain sustainability development goals, because I mean climate change and environmental things, it's only one part of the transition, what we have to come through. I mean, we have to transition into 100% renewable energy, but also we are facing so many other problems, and you spoke about them earlier, plastic pollution, biodiversity, and so on. So I think this project is a really good tool for local community to get involved, create their own messages, and rally their communities behind it.
Thanks. Sandra, thank you so much. And it's been an honor to work with Sandra and all the things that she has done and plans to do. I mean, she's a real force of energy. She has a background with media, and I'm really excited to I see you have a yellow X.
Yes, and I want to do a little pitch here. The yellow X, it stands for villages that be threatened by coal mining, and something that's, it's about Mother Earth defenders, and really lifting them up and give them support. And here in Germany we have the biggest polluter, the lignite coal mine of Germany, giant RWE, right now. It's just like only a 1 hour drive from Bonn. And the parachutes, they've been also used to raise awareness about these things. Now, over the last week, there have been a lot of mobilization by Fridays for Future across Europe, fighting these biggest polluter, and so I really wanted to give
Shout
them
out. Thank you. It's
some exposure, but it's also, we need to fight these evictions from land for dirty coal mining everywhere in the world. I mean, it's happening everywhere in the Amazon. It's happening in the Tongas. It's happening in Africa, and it's just so great that we can connect here now on this platform and through this project on a common purpose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. And I see that our time limit has gone about 20 minutes over. So as not promised, as promised, I hope to end it at 1:30. And now this is our very first Mother Earth Project Zoom event. So I'd like to end our call, and maybe everyone, if you're around, to turn on your video and wave to everybody. Our next event will be hopefully near in the future, and I'm thinking about the idea of having breakout rooms where people can meet in groups of 4 or 6 and can just have private conversations with each other, so we can do less listening and more just talking and sharing and getting to know each other and become friends. And I'm hoping that today we have become friends together. And if anybody wants to reach out to another person, please contact me, and I'd be happy to make a connection. You know, we're here to help amplify your voices, and you know, we all have to love each other and be there for each other. So I want to sign off now, and wish everyone a wonderful day. Goodbye. I'll turn the sound on if you want to. You can turn your volume on, or unmute yourself and say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Stay safe, everyone.